All right, all right. It's a Tuesday. I know we're kind of bringing a Wednesday show onto a Tuesday, and
Nice.
that's just because tomorrow I got a lot of things to do. The wife has it off for some appointments, and actually, I had to take the dog to her appointment just to do the checkup when she got spayed, and of course, I knew she was 100% because the dog can't sit still. So I knew there was nothing wrong with the dog. The dog's doing awesome. So welcome everybody to Gypsy Road, Journey into the Paranormal Effect. And right before we get into the world of Amityville Horror, because the Amityville Horror is so freaking interesting. I'm not talking not even just with the ghost stories, the hauntings of that. I mean, the murders that actually happen there is just so crazy when you actually hear the story, and that's where we got to start with. And I mean, there's theories within the story of the murders without even ghosts, anything about the ghost stuff. And it's kind of a cool little. If people don't know the whole story, because I don't know what people know in the chat. A lot of people know the Amityville Horror as the haunted house, but sometimes people don't know about the actual real murders that happens there. And we're going to talk about all of it, but I want to do a shout out just real quick. There's a video that was dropped today, and I got to tell you, Bob, I don't know if you've seen it yet. It is
No.
It's marvelous.
What?
Quantum of Consciousness. I put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Quantum Matt put out a video today, and this is what it's called. This is the title, and you'll get the title. Hey, doom and gloom truthers, please relax. And what I'm saying is I know the title might like, what? When you watch, it's only 44 minutes. And the way he explains stuff in this video about don't let life pass you by just being doom and gloom, because you're giving into what some of the people want you to, and you're losing the battle, you're losing people. And it was just a wonderful way on how Matt was saying it in his video about.
I watched it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like he's talking about I know we're not going to be talking about it here, but talk about like guys, don't worry about the economy, because not even they can have it fall apart, because if the economy does fall apart, who's it benefits? Well, people like us, because we know how to live with no money. I mean, we do. We do. We're poor. Rich people, senators of Congress, they're so rich and stuff. They know that in a new kind of a world where there's really like no law, they're all going to be the first one to die because they don't know how to survive. Man, it's weird saying that, but can you see? Honestly, can you see our president hunting for food out in the woods? It's not, and it's just the way Matt explains it. It's exactly what we've always been saying: is relax. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna live through this. We're not gonna die. The world's not gonna fall apart. Next year, when they come out with the fake whatever, everything's gonna go back to normal. Guarantee it. And all this Armageddon stuff, I'm sorry to tell you, it's not gonna happen. Listen to Matt, guys. It's only 44 minutes. He explains it very, very well. Beyond that, okay, Bob, Amityville Horror. Okay.
Yes.
Now this happened in the 70s. Okay. Now, before we get into any of the haunted house stuff, in this house, there was a family of 7 people. Okay.
So,
let me go here for a second. Oh, actually, hold on. I want to share. I want to share the screen of the poll that I put out just to kind of get a feeling.
Yeah, I like
people
that.
know about it.
I like your poll. It shows science, and then we can sell it off to the Russians.
Well, you could tell how it's kind of sad that a lot of people who's supposed to be open-minded, that when you don't do a topic or a poll on the topics they only like, nobody really goes to it. So it's kind of sad that even though people say they're open-minded, they're really not. But the simple story here is the horror story about the Amityville house real or certified or certified hoax. House is haunted. 39% out of 23 votes says it is haunted. Certified hoax, 52% says it's not. 9% says don't know anything about Amityville House. I just put that in there because a lot of people don't know the story. Now there is a separation also on a house is haunted and a certified hoax. And what I mean is you can still have a certified hoax, but there is something that does go on in the house. And we'll get into that and we'll explain that a little bit more. So, and guys in the chat, you still got time to vote. If you want to go on there and vote, put it in. I'd like to know what you guys think of the Amityville horror. But we're gonna go to the murders. Okay, I gotta vote. Here we go. Let me go to the murders. Let me pull up this. Okay, the DeFeo family was like basically a family of 7. Okay, one night, Ronald DeFeo. The story goes that Ronald DeFeo went in and killed his whole family. That's a total of 6 people. Now let's get that. Let's hear that. This guy murdered 6 people, and this is his family. I'm not talking, not just your mom and dad. You're talking this guy murdered your mom and dad, brothers and sisters. Everybody. And this basically happened November 13th, right? Number 13. Bob, what was the date? What was the date? November 13th, 1974. I'm curious. I want to see the calendar of that month. I'm curious. Did that happen on a Friday? I'm just.
So November is 11, okay, 11, 13, 1, 1, 1, 3, 3. Okay, cool.
Month in 1974, November. I'm just curious. What day did 13th fall on? I'm just curious. Here we go. 1974 in November. No, it was a Wednesday, so it wasn't on a Friday. I mean, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't make a difference. Yeah. But actually, here, let me show you some. Let me show people images.
So it happened on a Wednesday.
Okay. Now, there were 6 people murdered. I mean, there's pictures here. Of course, that's what the guy looks like. It looks like almost like Bob with a shorter beard. That's why Bob's on the picture of the thumbnail. If you guys notice it, that Bob was the one that got arrested. If you look at the thumbnail. Now, within this story here, the story goes, he's the one that killed. The story goes in a fast-paced story is he murdered 6 people, and then apparently he murdered them between 3 to 3:15 in the morning, which in a lot of the paranormal communities, it's basically the devil hour, 3:15. Yeah, 3 in the morning. 3:15. Okay, so after he did his murder, this guy apparently went to a bar and actually admitted to the murders. And he came back, and of course, he gets arrested, and his story keeps changing. Where he said at one time that a voice told him to kill, but his story keeps changing. Now, if you're a criminal guy, everybody knows, Bob. Even if you're not an insane person, Bob, even if you have a story within years of life, I guarantee your story is going to change. So, you can't just say, well, he changed his story so much, so this ain't true, that's not true, this is true. Story does change during time. Yeah. Now there's 4 different theories. Hello, my favorite house. Hey, Val, if you I don't know if you want to come on or not, but if you're in front of a computer, I'll email you the invite because you know a lot about this. You don't have to, Val. You don't have to come on, but if you are in front of a computer or something, here, I'll just email you the login.
You don't have to show your face.
Okay, so there's different theories here about this guy. Ronald DeFeo equals 666 triangle gel. Oh, wow. Look at that, Bob.
No, of course, dude. Why would it not?
So let's do a simple story. The first one, he murdered all 6. He goes to jail. That's case number 1. Okay. Now, if you know about this family, they're an Italian family. So the father abused the kids. There was evidence that he beats the kids. and all that kind of stuff. So the second story is, he basically has mental illness, but because of his mental illness, it was because of the father used to beat him. He had a breaking point, and he broke his son so much, and he killed people because he was just mentally ill. Well, if you kill 6 people, I mean, technically you're mentally ill.
Yeah.
Okay.
It would definitely constitute as mentally ill.
Yes. So mentally ill. Okay. Yeah. Now, all right. Hello, Val.
Hello, guys. Hello, everybody.
All right. She knows a lot about the house haunting part. So I'm glad she's on here. So what we're saying is the first part of the story, you can say he's mentally ill. He killed all 6 people because the abuse that he received from his parents, or not from his mom, from his dad, took him to a boiling point where he just snapped. That's story number 1.
Mm-hmm.
Now, story number 2, if you read another theory, is the father is known to be involved in a mafia. Okay. He was, yes, there was mafia ties. Mm-hmm. They don't know how deep into the mafia ties that the family was, but the father was dealing in some kind of mafia ties. And one of the stories is there's no way he could have killed the 6 people the way they were killed, that he had helped. So one theory is he had help from the opposite mafia that was against the father. That's two stories. And I'll tell you why these stories come out. Okay. Now there's another story that he had help from his sister.
Mm-hmm.
His sister actually helped him kill the family. And of course, she laid in bed where it's going to be like a suicide type of deal, whatever. Okay. Now, this is the reasons why they say he could have helped, because the 6 murders, people don't understand this. Now, he used a rifle. He didn't use a handgun, people. Now, what is the difference between a rifle and a handgun? Bob, what is one of the main differences of a rifle and a handgun? We're hunters. What's one of the main things, the difference between a handgun and a rifle?
Well, I mean, you could have a higher caliber. Number 1, it's going to be louder. You got a longer barrel.
Oh, bingo. Yeah. Bingo right there. You said it right there. It's loud. A rifle is a lot louder than the handgun. Yeah. Now, neighbors were saying they didn't really hear a rifle, but if you're not listening for a rifle, it's not guaranteed you're going to guarantee hear a rifle. But this is the thing is, you're going to use a rifle in the house. All the murders that they investigated, that the bodies were laying in a position that they were sleeping, that they weren't moved, because they thought, well, if they were sleeping and if he shot the mother and father first, wouldn't they woken up? Wouldn't they be like sitting up, like what the hell is going on? Because the rifle's so loud, So the theory could go that to be able to kill all 6 in that position that they're in, he would have had to do it faster. And that's where they're saying that he could have helped. Now, you can kind of debunk that in a way, because now technology wasn't really there kind of yet. So cops will know what kind of bullets they're being using. So if he had helped, you would think that other people were using weapons, would have been probably a different kind of rifle. They would have known by the bullets. But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if the murders were done now, they would know what kind of black powder it is, the black powder on hands, because one of the stories is the sister actually had some black powder on her where you only get that if he had a gun. That's one of the stories. Okay. Now, of course, the most obvious story is there was a possession, that he was possessed. And of course, with the help of the demons, they were keeping them down with the killings. So there's a lot of different stories of the killing. So Val, what have you heard about the killings? Is there different kind of stories you heard that I haven't explained?
Yeah, I mean, I think you pretty much covered them, but yeah, the 35 Marler rifle, I mean, that would have to be so loud. And there is a depiction that the mother was not actually face down. She was up and fell backwards, and the sister actually was not face down either, the one that had the gunpowder on her hands, because she actually had gun wounds to her face. That's why they didn't show it. So yeah, they all were not found face down. But
okay, that's good to know.
Yeah,
okay. That's good to know. So the question is, did he had help or not? I mean, I can't tell you that, but I would think they would have found evidence of extra people helping because you would have to have multiple guns. I'm sure mafias don't all carry the exact same rifle. Maybe they do. I don't know.
I wouldn't think so. I mean, usually you're talking mafia back then. I mean, yeah, they used rifles and handguns, but this was a regular hunting rifle, something that you would go squirrel hunting and stuff like that with.
Yeah.
I mean, they are loud, but it's not something that you would use, I would say, to like wipe somebody out with.
That is interesting. Tomicon says, and the license plate plus prison number equals 15 equals 6. 19 or 21. Okay.
Yeah, I got Ronald. What's his name? Ronald
DeFeo.
Or Feo. Yeah, the double R. Hold on. The R is 18. The other one, Rafeo, 4. Yeah, it comes out to 13. Anyway, I'm doing numbers too.
Well, he was born September 26, 1951. Of course, master murderer who tried to convince 1974 killings. Mother, 2 brothers, and 2 sisters. He had 6 sentences of 25 years to life. And remember, I was telling you the other day, Bob, that I was reading that they got him on 6 accounts, but they were all counts of second-degree murder, not even first-degree murder, which it's hard to. I mean, he's never got out of jail, but it's still weird to know
why second.
Did he not get first degree? If you get it first degree, usually it's because they found evidence of a mental illness or some kind of condition. Otherwise, even though he killed 6, he's in there for life for 6 counts of murder. He should have gotten first degree murder for every single one of them. So that's kind of interesting in itself alone.
Yeah, and they really couldn't pinpoint his story either because, like you said, he changed it so much. Now, did he change it to suit the police officers? Did he change it to, hide actually what had happened? I mean, I have the big paranormal theory on that side, but yeah, he did change his story and they couldn't really, pinpoint down in his mind what was going on. They didn't have the evidence, even though they had physical evidence. They had no true evidence of how many people were involved. So that's why that went down that way.
Yeah. And that, in smaller towns like that, it's not like they're like in New York City where they got the, top-notch money and all that. Because when you do an investigation, it costs a lot of money in an investigation. So sometimes what happens is if they think they got a simple story, simple thing, guy admitted in a bar, they don't want to waste all that extra money to go further because they got their murderer, they got the murder cases. People don't understand that murder cases are very, very expensive. So that's why sometimes you're wondering why did they catch these people but not these people? And usually, depending on what the person look like or what they are, if there's a publicity side of it. So there's a lot of reasons why certain cases don't get fully investigated as maybe they should. Or this could be like a simple case. I mean, and it was the media that made it bigger than not. Now, possession or not, it doesn't matter if he was possessed or not, because Vel could probably back me up on this. When you have a massive murder, usually people get murdered. Usually the energy stays
in the house,
unrested, haunted. Because you have the ingredients right there to create a paranormal in a house without even him ever even think about being possessed because you got murdered. I mean, a lot of people get murdered, don't leave.
Well, that psychologically too. You go into a house like that, psychologically, it's got to weigh on you. Now, I know that when you buy a house, they have to tell you the history. So I'm assuming that people got the history. Obviously, well, the first people that moved in. Right after that, everybody knows the history. But I would think that the family would know the history. If they knew the history, they would be a placebo a little bit. They would think. I'm just throwing things out there because I've heard there's a lot of paranormal stuff. I'm not trying to debunk it, but I am trying a little bit. But damn, I heard a lot of crazy shit happen.
No, we're not debunking it. We're just saying that even if you take out the possession, you can say he was never possessed. He was just a mental ill guy. But what he has done has created ghosts to happen. I mean, that's where hauntings usually happen, right? Unrested soul. I mean, you're not talking about one murder. He murders 6 people
out of 7 people, 6 and 7s.
Yeah. So it's just, I don't know, but people were saying in the chat. Let me see here. Did he claim insanity? You know what? I don't know that for sure. Well, I guess he kind of did when he said that.
He got a second. He didn't get a first.
Heard voices, and he must have, because I don't understand how he could got second-degree murder, not first, if it was a cut and dry case.
Yeah,
I bet you there was. I bet you behind the scenes, attorneys will say, "Listen, he's mental ill. Let's just get him on let's just get him on second degree, because you got 6 people that equal up to 150 years in jail."
Oh God!
They knew he wasn't going anywhere anyway.
Yeah. So it's not like going nowhere. So, and it would save a lot of money on a court case, on a major court case.
Which is pretty much the bottom line on any cases nowadays. Save the money. We've got a confessor. We're done. No more research.
If he did, it didn't stick. If he did, some poor smut gets blamed. Yeah. Well, you know, that you got to start from the beginning. I mean, that's basically the beginning of the Amityville. Amityville. I mean, that's the beginning. Here, let me. I don't think there's anything really more interesting about this guy's life. I mean, if you don't know where it is, people, it's Long Island, New York. It's in that area. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's interesting about this guy. All I know is I've seen his interviews. I watched some Amityville horror shows last night on this guy, and when they interviewed this guy, I mean, his like Val saying, his story keeps changing, and it's like, did he just for the at the time for the cops? Did he just change it because now he's being interviewed, or what? I mean, when you're never getting out of jail and you're talking to press, I mean, why do you care what you say? It's not like you're going to say something to the press and the next day you're going to get this sympathy and they're going to let you out and say, hey, go on.
Well, they made a movie. So remember, they made a movie after it. So the place became famous. And then he became famous after the movie.
They made a movie, but the movie, of course, was based on the Luntz family of their 28 days. And we're going to get into that. And of course, we're going to get into that next, but I just wanted to start from the beginning where the legend of the story kind of started with the killings. So you got 6 people that killed. Okay, about a year later, let me find the George Luntz, the George Luntz family. Let me see here. Let me go to Google here a second. I know his name is George and Kathy Luntz.
Here we go.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let me see here.
And so this is the next family that moved in, right?
Yeah.
This is what the movie based off of.
They were the direct family that moved in. Right after them. So
yeah.
Let me see here.
Cool. We got Vale in here now, so we get the real skinny. Seriously, we get the real skinny. You know all about it. Outside of the movie.
Let me show a picture of what the Luntz family came in, what they look like. So people, it's easier when you got a what they look like. Of course, there's the Luntz family. Now, of course, there's the movie version, and of course, there's their version. Okay, now basically, in the simple story is that they bought this house for about $80,000, but the house in value is actually worth $120,000. But people don't want to buy it because of the murder, so that's why the house is so cheap. Now, and that's true, people. Bob knows this. I used to have a house in Des Moines that I bought. That the reason I bought this house, it was so cheap. It was a big house. It was extra cheap because the people who lived there previously made they made drugs in their garage. They made meth in their garage. So and they got arrested. And the funny thing is, these people who I bought this house from made this meth. Their neighbor was a cop. So I'm not shitting you guys. I don't know how that works, why would you make meth? Because I know meth will smell and your neighbor's a cop. I don't get that, but it did. And I was able to buy this house cheap. Okay, because in the state of Washington, when you buy a house, they have to tell you what the previous owners were. They have to. So a lot of people didn't want to buy it, and that's like, I'll buy it. I don't give a fuck. It's a myth house.
It's in a rich neighborhood. It was like a steal. It was in a beautiful neighborhood overlooking the water. Beautiful big ass double-story house. Awesome. It was a meth house. It
was just a meth house. And now, of course, I had to sell it because I had to move to Maryland for a job and all that. But when you sell it as a second owner, you don't have to say what it was before. So in a lot of ways, I win no matter what. But still, why would you make meth with your neighbor as a cop? I don't even know. But it's just. I know people are like, lying. I am not lying.
They bought a murder house, a death house.
Okay, so basically, about a year later, they bought this house, and the story goes, in the 28 days, they ran out because of all the paranormal stuff that they say that has happened in the house. Okay, now this is where it gets kind of strange. Some people say that they planned this all along because they want to sell the book rights. They want to get a movie made and all that. Now this is where it can get tricky because I'm not here to brainwash anybody, say this was a hoax. It was not a hoax. Because I believe there probably was some hauntings in the house because of the murders, but not to the point where they're going to run out of their house in their underwear and like run away. But now. So for me, I feel it's a certified hoax. But I'm going to tell you something. This happened in 1975.
Yeah.
You gotta have the biggest set of balls to bank everything on to create a hoax out of this. 'Cause I'm going to tell you guys something. In 1975, it's not like in the last 20 years, buying a house has become easier than buying a car. It is. It has. I mean, we went into a housing boom where the economy collapsed because they were giving away houses. They're giving more money than what the house value were and collapsed. 1975, the interest rates were in their 18s and 20s. So you had to put 20% down. So to bank something on this, even at an $80,000 house in 1975, I mean, you're banking a lot of shit to pull this off.
Yeah, and they didn't have a lot of money anyway.
Yes, right. Yes, they have a lot of money. You're right. His business was on the edge of collapsing even in the first place. So this is ballsy to even do this.
Yeah, I would have debunked a long time ago had I not gone to a cemetery with that box that when that program told me. And I was getting answers for questions I'm asking, and it said I checked. I'm a debunker. I make sure there's nobody with a radio chipping in, nothing. I'm like, okay, and I've experienced a lot of paranormal activity over here in Europe's. So when I see this now, I look at it with new eyes. I'm like, Vio, she goes out and does the same thing. So you don't need to convince her that they're out there. They're out there. And so I'm a different person watching this now. Well, hearing this story.
Part of the problem that his stories even change, I mean, he even came out and said that the movie was totally wrong on what happened, from the books, because the guy who wrote the book, they even asked the guy who wrote the book. I saw the interview. He goes, "Do you believe the story that the book you wrote?" He goes, "I don't have to believe the story. They told me the story. It sounded interesting, and I wrote the book. I wrote the book based on their story, not my story, their story." So he made $2 million, and they made like $250 million off the book sales. That's a fact. That's not exaggerated. That's a fact. So they made money off of this. Now, like I said, it's ballsy because you're not guaranteed. There's no YouTube, right? There's no YouTube in those days, and not everybody had a TV in the 70s and 80s. So the only reason Bob and I had a TV, guys, in the 80s is because our father won a TV at a grocery store. And that's a true story. never had a TV until he wanted TV. So it's not like you're guaranteed to get publicity. But this is the part that I got to call this guy false, because he said a story about in a movie. If you guys seen the movie, there's a scene where there's a glass, there's a window, right? The glass window slammed on the kid's hands. Okay. He said that really happened. It slammed on his hands and they took him to the hospital, to get his hands fixed up. So the person who was interviewing later in life says, okay, we're going to put an opinion or whatever that word is with the hospital you sent them to look at the records on they repaired his hands from a window. Yeah. He changed his story. Said, "Oh no, we were going to take him to the hospital, but we bandaged his hands ourselves." So when you start changing the story kind of like that, I mean, also I don't know if you guys know that Bale probably knows this. Before he went on TV to give his story, I actually was hiring a paranormal group to go in there and do an investigation.
Ed and Lorraine.
He called and canceled, said, "You know what? I don't want the publicity at all." And then okay, I get that. But that same morning, they went on air and did publicity. So that paranormal group they were going to hire to recalibrate his story, to vouch for his story, was never allowed to go in there until later on, where Ed and them went in there. Val, am I saying that correctly or am I wrong?
Yeah, they did hire the original investigators. I can't remember what their names were, but yeah, they would not come out. They also wanted the church to come out. The church would not, validate their story without a true investigation. So that's where Ed and Lorraine came in, was through the church.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Now, first, Ed and Lorraine, they went into the house and they, she said one of the most scariest places she's been to. Now, that part could be absolutely true because there were murders. I mean, you plant it where ghosts can really does happen, but so the question is, the new people that move in after them, after the Lutz family, has never said they experienced anything. So,
I can probably tell you why on that.
Now they could be lying. They could be lying. About that, or they just don't want the publicity. They don't want nobody else around there, because even to this day, they still get people outside their houses taking pictures and want to go in. I mean, who wouldn't want to visit the Amityville Horror? So the part about Ed and Lorraine Warren, if people don't know who Ed Lorraine Warren is, they're like the godfather and godmother of ghost hunting. They're like one of the originals where on air, where they use the TVs to get their stories out there. They use every element that they can get. Now, and Ed and Bill, correct me if I'm wrong, they were actually, they get hired by the church themselves to do cases. So it's not like they were just two random people that wants to do paranormal. They actually got hired by the church to do some cases for them. Am I wrong on that?
No, and they would take private cases if someone would call them, because Ed was a demonologist, and Lorraine with her gifts, and they were in with the church, so they had a parapsychology. They were like not really the first. I mean, there was first people to invent parapsychology.
Popularity wise, getting on TV, they were like the first TV personalities that took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So what happened then? I mean, so what was it that was it like the movie? I mean, did they have all the flies show up inside the house and they were freaked out on flies and things moved around?
According to the documentaries that I saw, the flies never happened.
Okay.
Never happened. That was just... Now listen, people got to understand this too. And even George, because George tried to sue the movie company, saying you're disrespecting the real story. Now, come on, when you make a movie, right? You make a movie, you gotta make the movie more attractive to people to watch. Okay, if you base a movie purely on actually what happened, probably nobody's going to watch the movie.
Right.
I remember, for a good example is Bob Howard Stern made a movie that he actually starred in called Hard Charge. I can't remember what Private Parts.
I remember that movie.
Okay, Private Parts. You know, in the scene where he was on the plane, like talking to the person and telling her the story. He explained that that never happened, and Sam Raimi was telling him, well, to make a story work for a movie, you got to get the people to have sympathy for you or to have a connection with you. So by having Howard Stern talk to this person on the plane on a normal level, you're developing emotional connection with the people watching your stuff. A horror movie is exactly the same thing. You got to make a connection on why people are watching it. So because the movie's different, I mean, that's just common sense. You know, there is no 100% pure, 100% pure truth movie. I mean, did you guys see Bohemian Rhapsody? Are you guys going to tell me? I like Bohemian Rhapsody. Don't get me wrong. Are you going to tell me with all those scenes where the band was at a party and they're not having beer, they're not doing drugs? Yeah, fucking right. They're fucking a band, party animals. You know, so movies are never going to be exactly the same. They got to make the movie more attractive. So a lawsuit, dude, he's so stupid. This is why I don't like this George guy, because the movie made you a star. I mean, in a lot of ways, behind the scenes star. I mean, and
so what happened, Veal, what actually happened? What do you know that happened in there?
Well, I'm going from Lorraine and Ed's point of view because, you know, I love them to death. She's so sweet and kind. But
awesome.
And, you know, whenever she went in there, and there is interviews out there, she was talking about the heaviness in the house and just the pure evil that was in that house. And she said she could see these wrapped up bodies, you know, in her mind. And, you know, I'm kind of going from her perspective on that. Yeah, because I've been to the property. I wouldn't even get out of the car, and there's this heaviness. And I think, I mean, not, you know, demonic or anything, because, you know, I haven't been in the house, but, you know, like you said, with, you know, the deaths that occurred there, and there is a lot of things with the property. Now, the original house was moved there, so it's not really so much, say, the house. I think it's more the property. And yeah, when you got, you know, negativity on a property, the DeFeos, they fought all the time. You add all that negativity and you get pretty much, you know, what Jackson and I, you know, talk about as a tulpa, which is a manifestation of evil within an area. And, you know, that can make people do things, you know, just like with investigators, you get a tulpa of people saying, well, this is here and this is here. And people start getting hyped up and energetic about, you know, negativity going on. And all of a sudden, you know, you're seeing things and doing things. So, you know, that can happen to people. Now, you know, the truth of it, you know, did the Let's experiences things, you know, they said, you know, things were happening and being levitated off the beds and stuff like that. Now, I don't know, you know, if they were, you know, just making some of this up. Now, Lorraine, you know, she didn't say that, you know, she could validate any of that, but they did get pictures in the house of, you know, the little ghost boy. You know, she felt the heaviness and the evilness in the house. I mean, that's documented.
Yeah, and so I think they used the ghost boy in the remake in 2005 with Ryan Reynolds. With the remake was just fucking stupid. Yeah, you know, on the Travel Channel, they did a nice documentary on Ed and Lorraine Warren called Shock Docs on the Travel Channel. It was actually really good. I actually enjoyed it.
So wow! So they got a picture of the little boy, and wow, is there a picture? Is it online, Eric? Can we find the picture of the little boy? The ghost picture?
It's on there.
Let me see here. Let me type in.
I want to see the picture of the boy.
Boy.
I want to see the ghost. Let's see that one. And the thing is, they're accredited. That's like, well, they're accredited because they are accredited. They use science to go in the house. They use the documents. They use the cameras. They're not in there making. They're not going to make anything up.
Right here.
They want evidence. Oh.
See right there?
Oh, He's on the banister.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people tried to debunk that one too. Said that there was like a boy in the house. It was the people that owned the house. This little boy was running around, and Lorraine herself said there was nobody there. These were caught in consecutive sequence with one of those automatic quick cameras with the lights. So, yeah, he just appeared.
Yeah,
and it looks identical to the boy killed. Is that they're saying it looks just like him, right?
Well, they say it looked like right here. This picture here, it kind of looked like.
Oh snap!
And you got to remember, 1975, guys. You know the technology. I'm not saying they couldn't manipulate the film, but it is a lot harder to manipulate the film. But because it's 1975, they could tell if a 1975 picture has been manipulated more than the pictures you take now. So
that looks just like it.
I believe. For me, I believe that. I do believe that. Like I said, there were 6 murders there. So negative energy, like we all said in the past, that ghosts are created from energy. What if your energy is still there?
Yeah.
So is that the only picture they have?
Well, didn't you say something also? I think you're on our show before. Like I said, like I've been on graveyards, and I'm trying to find ghosts myself, and of course I have yet to been able to find a ghost. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, just to tell people, just clicks and stuff. I have not. I think I remember you telling me or something that sometimes ghosts will only appear in front of certain people, and sometimes because of your way you're so, I don't know, my soul, I don't know what I'm saying, that they don't want to come out. They don't want to come out for me. But like if you go there, they might more likely come out for you because they sense that you're more, I don't know, that you can speak to them and I can't.
Right. And they spirits are people. They were once people. And if you have, something within you, like little girl, might look up to you like a daddy or something like that, and she might try to, talk out to you. Whereas a woman that may have, had bad dealings with men, she might not want to speak to you. She might want to talk to a woman investigator. It all depends on who you are and how they perceive you, and take your attitude and stuff like that. And I was also going to touch on, that the new people that moved into this home don't have any paranormal experiences. So they say, well, they may not, because maybe now that home is at a calm, maybe they're not fighting and arguing. They got good vibes going on in their family. So they don't have all that going on. But you have another family that comes in there, and that spirit that may be in that home doesn't like the family that moved in there. You might have a whole new DeFeo case.
I can see that. Yeah, I went to the cemetery. They were talking to me like, I've made a video. That's my first ever. I was getting hits. Boom, boom, boom. They even said, I had somebody filming me, and it says camera. Yeah, camera. Then they said broad. I go, broad like girl? And I'm like, no. Oh, broad. Yeah, I'm big and broad. It was describing me. I was freaking out a little bit. I was like, yeah, I'm a little broad in the shoulder areas. Like, it was actually responding. And again, I checked the area. I made sure there's nobody doing anything. But yeah, shit. Some people they talk to. I got lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Does this name mean something? Hence, Slenderman.
Yeah, Talpa is a Slender Man idea. Yeah, that's true. The Slender Man was created on creepypasta, and then all of a sudden you got all these younger people seeing him in the woods, and he's done this, and so everybody starts believing in this Slender Man thing, and then all of a sudden you got this big old manifestation of something that don't actually exist.
Yeah, I dreamt something like that though. I've never dreamt of anything weird in my life like that. I've dreamt of a large, slender, I call him the asparagus guy. He was an long, tall asparagus guy because his head was like asparagus. I swear to God. I dreamt this fucking thing and it was chasing me. I'm like, and I finally stopped. And I realized that every time I moved forward, it would move forward with me. And when I stopped, it stopped in the dream. I realize that wherever I go, it just goes and then stops. So I go, oh, I actually woke up not scared.
Hey, everybody in the chat, I put Belle's YouTube page right here. So
thank you.
click on it, people. So click on it. She's got a lot of great stuff. I like going to her, some of her shows. She'll have like 6, 7 people on talking everything, and I always have fun. And then you yourself have a 2-part video that's out right now, Belle, from the last 2 days called Bollinger Mill. Bollinger Mill, and that's what is Bill? What is? I'm not from that part of the country. What is a Bollinger Mill?
The Bollinger Mill actually was part of the Bollinger family. They came in with a land grant from the Spanish, and it was pre-Civil War. Oh. And they made a mill. They called it after their family, and the army actually ended up burning down the mill because they didn't want supplies given out to the soldiers. And his daughter ended up, taking over it after he died. And, the family cemetery and everything is there. All the history is there. The covered bridge, which was built, later by the Bollinger family, which actually goes into Birdford, Missouri, is one of the 4th last standing covered bridges in Missouri and one of the oldest.
Wow. A lot of history on that one.
Yeah.
And did you do anything out there? Did you run around with your ghost box?
Oh yeah. We done, an EVP session in the basement of the mill, which we got, one little response before another group came in behind us. We done, some out over in the field where they used to, do their sharecropping and stuff for the flour and wheat. And then we went up to the family cemetery, and I was so excited to get home because I finally had the God moment evidence. My daughter and never heard, really the voices. They were coming through the air, just like on the wind, and you could hear them. And they were also echoing through my Bluetooth speaker. The same time it's being heard, it would echo back kind of like a feed reverb back through the box. But when I got home, there was no audio. All that audio was manipulated and gone.
Oh, what's supposed to happen?
Yeah, but we are going back. I want to catch this. That was so amazing to catch that, to hear them talking and then talking, just open conversation.
Are you gonna have that live on air, or are you gonna pre-record it and put it out?
I will probably pre-record it because the area that I set in with the Ozark Mountains, we just cannot get a live signal out anywhere. We've tried it. So unless I get some kind of satellite power box or something, I probably won't ever be able to do a live around here. So it'll probably be a drop video. I'm going to go out there Saturday on Halloween during the day and see what we can get.
There is a question here I got to ask you because you have a video. I have not watched this one. It's the one that's called The Conjuring, Fact or Fake. Mm-hmm. And the reason I want to ask you this question because, of course, the Conjuring movies are based on Ed and Lorraine's files. One of their cases. Yes, the Conjurings are based on their files, their story. So yeah, Bob. There's even a 3rd one coming out. It's all their story. Now, what I understand. But The Conjuring is based on the Perez. If I'm saying it wrong, I apologize. The Perez family. But what I understand is Ed and Lorraine actually got kicked off the property by the Perez family. So they didn't actually end up helping them because they were thrown off the property. Is that true?
Yeah. And the movies really, the story was mostly based on Andrea's book. So yeah, the Warrens, they didn't get to finish their investigation because they didn't like how they were conducting it. And reason I was saying fact or faked because the book and the movie, which Andrea says is like, oh, it's true to fact. It's true to fact. It was even more horrendous to live in the house than actually watching the movie. But then again, she goes back and she says that, well, in the movie, they talk about the possession taking place in the basement. And they got her tied up to the chair. It was not even a possession, really. It was more of a channeling, and it was at the dining room table.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was a lot of, just like Amityville, there was a lot of misconception stories in there that I couldn't figure out.
No, it was just interesting because the movie is based on their files, their stories, and then you learn well, God, they got kicked off the property. So and of course the movie is finished with them doing the possession. Ed had to do his demonologist without a priest being there. I mean, like I said, they did it for the movie, but then somebody said, they actually got kicked off. I'm like, really? They got kicked off? Mm-hmm. And then of course Weird. They were one of the stories. They went overseas in the Conjuring 2 in London, Bob, where they did that family. Mm-hmm. There were multiple paranormal groups that actually investigated that one. They were just one of them. I can't remember what that family was called.
Yeah, and I really didn't dabble too much into that because I actually want to go to the Harrisonville Farmhouse. That's what it is. And I haven't really, I'd like to go in blind on investigation. I don't want to know about Bathsheba and what she did, and I don't want to know about the property. So whenever I did, start that live stream, I was kind of touching on the fact of, the movie, the book, the Warrens, and, it all doesn't make sense to me really, but.
Correct. It wasn't the Perez family. It was the Perrin
family. Yeah. Sorry.
Thank you. You got Paranormal on the World. You can see that. I don't. We're raw here. I'm doing all this on memory.
Paranormal Underworld is my second half there. He's my historian. So
he's one that I invited to come on our show when he ever has free time. Right? He's the one that the show with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we brought you on. We brought her on for this reason, guys. Now, understand that we brought her on because this is her area. So we don't know. We're learning like everyone else.
I told her last night to say, hey, we're talking about the Amityville. I know you went by the house before. You know more than I do.
Come on. More than me, too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just love the Amityville house. It's just amazing.
There's so many layers to it. Like, you could take away the hoax, which that's ballsy to do a hoax because you still got to put 20% down on an $80,000 house. If it didn't work, I mean, they would have to file bankrupt. And they had.
Well, what did they say happened in the house, though? What was it that happened? What was so significant? What was so powerful that?
What do you know about the special red room that's in the basement?
The red room was not even in the basement. The red room was in a closet, and it just had like shoes and stuff in it.
Oh, because in the movie, but you know what? I'm trying to remember this because I could have sworn one time there was some documentary that came on regular TV, which you can't believe everything you see on TV, where they were actually really showing the real red room, and it wasn't a closet size. So I'm like, I guess they're all lying, right? What is the truth? Now, that's the first time I heard it from you, that it's more of a closet size and it's painted red.
Yeah.
That's good.
I'm going to type in Redwood images from Amityville, see if it comes up.
Red room.
So it's a small red room, and something happened in that red room?
Well, I was trying to think where I seen it. It may have been in my mind I seen it, but I could have swore it was on a documentary where one of the girls, may have been one of the Lutz girls, that actually went back in there and was telling the story about the red room. And she's like, no, it's just this little, cubby. I mean, you could pull the door off. It was in a closet. She said there used to be shoes and stuff in there. And it was like a little room, but you can go in there and they play with their dolls and stuff in there. It was never in the basement.
Oh, okay. So it's where the children would play, like secret little playroom.
Yeah.
Oh, and that's probably why it's haunted, because the ghosts, the little ghost children feel safe in there. Okay.
Yeah, I can't even. Okay. There's not even really a picture that I can see here of showing me the red room. That's not it.
Yeah, that's not it. So what else happened in there? Anything else interesting that was like real?
Well,
like
he claimed that he woke. Now in the movie, he woke up every night at like 3:15 in the morning. That was the exact same time that the murders had allegedly happened. The little girl was, talking to imaginary friends. Of course, kids do that. Little entity named Jody, I think is what they called her, which actually turned into a pig, or I think it was a cat or something in the window. Mrs. Lutz would wake up with, whelps on her chest and stuff. And, she even claimed to be levitated off the bed, and, stuff was flying around the house. It come to, just a breaking point that, my kid is talking to demonic things, and there's just, I don't know.
Yeah, at some point I can see them wanting to leave. Now, Eric's talking about, it is a 50-50. Did they do it for the money, or in 1975 was that even a concept to do something like that? But yeah, well, I would exercise the shit out of it and then sell it.
And remember, the George Lutz was talking with a lawyer that was the same lawyer for that killer guy. Ronald, whatever his name is, I forgot his name. DeFeo. So it sounds like, it was a plan, but I don't know. I guess if you're going to be pouring away, why not just like going to Vegas, take a chance? It worked out.
Yeah, and this is the whole time too that the movie The Exorcist came out. So demons were on the rise. Everything is demonic. So if the Exorcist movie can have people passing out in aisles and, throwing up outside, why cannot we come up with this big demonic story and make some money off of it? It's just that, never know.
That's smart. Yeah. That's why I like you. You debunk first and then you put out the what the fucks later. That's a lot. I like that. Yeah. Okay. You know what? That makes a lot of sense. That was the time that Exorcist came out. And it was a big deal. People were lined up around the corners of this, and then like Eric said, a couple, hey, let's go in this house and act like it's haunted, and then
because they knew everything that happened in the house before the even. So it wasn't like
even now. Sorry, even now as investigators, we've been having this thing that we all been talking about. If you throw the word demon in there, nobody want to watch, us boring paranormals talking to ghosts. Now, if you say it's a demon, then everybody, your views will go skyrocket. Everybody's going to watch that. Demons. They're so horrible. So, yeah.
Yeah, because the Exorcist came out in 1973. So the murders in 74, and then you got 75. It's like, it's right there for the.
Wow.
And right. He keeps changing his story throughout. No, this didn't really happen. Oh, no, he didn't go to the hospital. We bandaged it ourselves. You kind of discredit yourself.
Well, it's a freaky house to look at, too. It looks like it's got two eyes when you look at the damn house. It's like, now you've been there, Neil. So you looked at it, you're like, what the fuck? It just looks like a big barn house.
Yeah, it's got a presence to it. Like I said, the house itself, I wouldn't even get out of the vehicle. That's how, heavy. And I literally felt sick. I'm like, no, I drove all this way, but I'm not getting out. And, I seen some children playing on the property. Of course, we all know how I am, but it's just, I felt more it's the property than the house. Of course, the house could suck up the energy from the property. And like I said, the DeFeos fighting all the time, that was a Italian family. We know how I love y'all Italians, but
that's the other one. Infield Poltergeist. Yes, that's the one in London where the Warrens went over there and did an investigation for the church. The Infield Poltergeist. There's actually there was the Conjuring 2 on the Infield Poltergeist, but there was also a made for TV or a small limited series, like a 4-show series on Infield Poltergeist. Me and my daughter watched, was actually pretty good. I'm not saying it was real and everything is real, but the movie itself, the TV show itself was pretty good.
I'm going to a cemetery tomorrow.
They refurbished the house. They refurbished the outside. Don't look the same.
Yeah, they redone all the windows. Yeah.
There's a good video, a documentary on YouTube, and outside the house does look like nothing like the original. I mean, nice paint,
Well,
metal gated fence. I mean, it looks very, very pretty.
Well, I would do the same. If I bought the house, I'd do the same thing. Unless you want to make money on people like wanting to come in and do a seance or something. I don't know. I wouldn't mind. I'd let people. Give me $100. You can come in and do whatever investigation you want. But it's a fun house.
Yeah, a lot of people do that. I got a haunted property. I will charge you $900 a night to come here.
Yeah, right. That's how it went so commercial now. I was like, I've got it. Like you were talking about that Mackey's, they're charging money now, I guess, to go through there, right?
Isn't that true? I'm serious. That's a trip now. It's like a whole new business.
Yeah.
If you have a known haunted house or something, you can charge people to go in there and do an investigation at night. And then,
yeah. And I mean, I can understand charging a little bit. I mean, Mackey's is not bad. That was actually pretty inexpensive for the experience that we did get. I mean, it's not what they say it is, but there's some of these that just charge ungodly amounts. I mean, I know you got to pay your taxes, keep the lights on and stuff like that, but there should be a limitation to, I mean, a cap, but then you're like a hotel room or something per night, not hundreds and thousands of dollars, it's just.
Yeah, like the one of the Shining, which is actually right around here where I'm at. The Shining is playing in one of the smaller theaters. I'm like, no freaking way.
The Stanley.
It's at the movie theater. Oh God, The Shining. I'm about ready to go see that damn movie again at the theater. But that Colorado hotel, weren't they charging money for investigations too? I think.
I wouldn't doubt it. And I understand it's not as haunted as everybody thinks it is. I mean, I understand Mrs. Stanley. You might see her come up to the registration desk, and there's supposed to be a couple little kids that play up on one of the floors. But that's pretty much it. I mean, what made that movie again? Just like with the Lutz, it was King's movie that came out, and it just went crazy from there. Oh, we're going to see blood coming out of elevators and go crazy. No, it's not going to happen.
The twins at the corner where the elevator is. Yeah, the two. I would freak the. I can walk around a corner and two twins are standing there, stoic faces.
Red rum.
Red rum.
Since I got you on here, what do you know about the Queen Mary?
I know nothing about Queen Mary. That would probably be Underworld right there. I think he's been there.
Well, Queen Mary. People don't know the definition of Queen Mary is a ship that you can actually do a hotel. You can rent a room out on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you rent a room, and it's supposed to be one of the most haunted. They say, I don't know if it's true now. They say it's one of the most haunted places now. Now, believe it or not, people, this man right here, I'm going to show you here. I got 2 videos that. It's called the Queen Mary After Investigation 1 or 2 that me and my kids did an investigation on Queen Mary. We actually got a hotel there. My video is not like a awesome, like we have machines. It was just me and my first video is me and my son walking around trying to see if we see something or hear something. The second video is me and my daughter. So I actually do have 2 videos of me walking around this ship to find ghosts and stuff, and I'm afraid to tell everybody that I didn't get shit. I didn't get nothing.
That's usually what happens.
We walked everywhere, and when I got back, I was so not upset that because I really want to catch something. I really do. So I took my daughter. I'm thinking because Bob, remember we talked before that maybe a ghost is more attractive to a girl versus a man. So I no problem from my daughter, and I got 2 videos on here. I guess nobody cares because I only got like 44 and 62 views on my channel. But we did walk around, and it's supposed to be haunted. And I know one of the reasons why I'm not a huge fan anymore of the Ghost Adventures, because apparently they went to the ship and they've seen all this. And here I am trying to see something. And I don't even hear nothing. No steps, no anything. So I'm
Well,
like,
it's packed, right? Yeah, the whole place was packed with people in
no,
the hotel.
when we went, it wasn't Halloween. It was just it was sometime in September.
Yeah, well, you're getting back into that entertainment, factor. Amityville wouldn't have been Amityville if it wouldn't have had that entertainment factor. And a lot of these, and it's, I hate to say it because we try hard to get away from that. We don't know how, that they hype these places up. And, this is what happens when you go on a paranormal investigation. No, a lot of times we are sitting around talking to broken radios and nothing happens. And we have to go back days and days and days. And sometimes, bless you, we don't get anything at all. So, they do it for entertainment, a lot of them. And it's really sad to say, because the ones that really want to go out there and prove something, it's really a boring field sometimes.
Yeah, it's archaeology. Archaeology is boring too. People don't know it. You did archaeology? Yeah, I did archaeology. Boring as fuck.
Paranormal Underworld went to USS Hornet, not Queen Mary. He said he didn't go there, but he went to Alcatraz, Winchester, Mystery House, Old Watch Club, and Virginia City, Nevada. Now, it's just I went to like 3 places where Ghost Adventure's been, and I can never do nothing. But dude, I was watching the episode, and I'm like, this is they played the #1 trick that. I'm like, did anybody ever call these guys out? I don't know. I don't know why I never saw this video. They did one where they claimed they heard voices from River Phoenix we have made contact with River Phoenix at the where he died outside, but they were talking to a woman, right? And they have a voice recording. And I do believe in voice recordings, but this one had a static, and they're like, it sounds like they said this. Oh, that's exactly what it said. It's like, hold on, you just planted to her what you want her to say that you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like plant a sentence because when you just heard a sentence, all you heard was until they put the word, and then she claims that's what I just heard. No, you did not. They just planted those words in your head, and now you're thinking that was it. And it's like, I'm not saying they're not real. I know they have real findings. Don't get me wrong, but you do have to question sometimes some of the findings to say this is for TV. Mm-hmm. I'm not debunking the Ghost Adventures, but the oldest trick is to push a word. It's kind of like that evil word that I don't say no more. The M effect. I call it the paranormal effect, where I try to say in the split reality, this is what it used to be, and then somebody who's not an investigator will say, no, you're right. I heard that too, and you could be totally bullshitting. But you can get people to think the way you want them to think. So I that's why when I watch your stuff, when you're some of your investigations, you do have it live. I don't see you guys doing that. I see a real honest, hardcore investigation. And that's what I appreciate. Why I like having you on the show is because I there's no fakeness of what you guys do, what your kind of investigation is, and that's my stamp of approval.
Yeah, well, thank you. And usually, if I do put words in mine, I mean they are clear, audible. Yeah, I'm 99.9% sure that's what was just said. I leave it open for a lot of the EVPs that are on there for you to either tell me down in the comments. I think they said this, which great, awesome. I will look into that. Yeah.
Yeah, because some people are able to hear certain things that other people can't hear. Yeah. I've met people like that. They've got like some kind of hearing thing where they can hear certain sounds that I can't hear. I got tinnitus real bad. Eric's just damn deaf. But other people have certain piercing can hear it.
Bob's talking about me. You guys all know that in the chat, right? Bob's talking about me.
Eric, you hear that? No.
What Bob's talking about is I'm actually have a percentage of deafness, and I can't hear very low sounds. So even if a ghost is talking into a a lower level.
Mhm.
Eric's.
Fuck you, Bob. I wouldn't even be able to hear it. maybe that's why ghosts don't like me. They don't want to come to me because they could be talking to me and I wouldn't even know it.
They have a special box for that, Eric, because my son has that, and it's called auditory processing disorder, and it's a special headphones that you wear with a box that changes the tones and sounds around you so you can hear them better.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had to wear one in school because he couldn't hear the teacher. He couldn't hear her voice.
Well, Val, I actually got sent to another school because they thought that I wasn't listening to any teachers. This is a true story. I'm not making this up. They sent me to another school because they thought there was issues with me because I wouldn't learn. I couldn't learn until one day a teacher at another school said, "We got to get his ears tested." And when they tested my ear, they said, "This kid's deaf."
Yeah.
And before they tested me, they sent me to another school. So I know what you're talking about. It's like
well, Eric was fine at our house because my dad was in the Korean War and he was deaf. He from the bullets. He had one by anyway. So my dad talked real loud, so Eric could hear everything he said. So then we were raised talking real loud. So we're always talking real loud, and we're like, you just can't hear him. You just got to talk to him like this. And I'm trying. In fact, I got to keep my voice down. The neighbors hear me. If I talk everybody at Eric's house, his neighbor come over and complain multiple times. I can hear your brother talking through my house.
I can't hear him at all.
Yeah.
I love high pitch because I can hear everything in a higher pitch.
Yeah. Get you one of those boxes, and you might be surprised what you're missing out.
Yeah, I might have to. That's you're right. I might be missing out. Might be probably one of the missing links on why I am not discovering the other side because maybe they are talking to me. I just don't know it.
You still hear them. Yeah.
Eric is the whisperer. Guys, trust me, I am no ghost whisperer. I want to be. I want to be.
Ghost whisperer.
Maybe you need to get with a team and have them to take you on an investigation.
Oh. No, that I do. One of our plans when Bob first came back from the UK, we were wanting to do some investigations, but of course, then when Bob came is when the whole pandemic shit happened and everything got shut down. So our plans of doing our own investigations kind of went out the window.
Yeah. But I'm going to the cemetery tomorrow, so I'll be there tomorrow. A couple of good gothic. The ghost yeller, yeah. They can hear me. I got to whisper. Yeah, when I talk to people, they're always the first thing I hear is, "You got to turn it down. Tone it down." Why? What? Why? Tone it down. Why? Okay, I got to whisper. Yeah, tomorrow I'm going to a cemetery, so I'm going to be happy. It's really gothic, man. It's really badass.
Bob, the cemeteries where you're at. I know a lot of cemeteries here where I'm at. You're not allowed beyond there at night. They actually have security going around. Now, in the Manchester, UK area, are you allowed to go to the graveyards at night? There's no security or?
Yeah, you can go out there at night. Yeah, you can go out there at night. You damn right. Yeah, there's a couple that you can't. The couple I call them the commercial ones, the larger ones, like that where people are just because there's so many people dying from this weird the Corholio. They're just bodies lined up to go into the ground. I'm joking, by the way. But there's this brand new one, and that one's got gates on it. It's just like the States. It's huge. It's beautiful. And then you've got so many of the old Gothic ones with the old Gothic churches. These things, we're talking 1800s, man. Back, like one was like 17. What the fuck? Old Gothic with the statues. And the weird, I'm doing a lot of my research over here on certain effects and changes based off just what I'm seeing on the tombstones. I'm certain you've been to a lot of cemeteries, especially the older graves, and I don't know if you've ever done etchings where you do the etchings on the grave. And I did it for a university class.
A lot of times I don't, because some of those stones are so old. Whenever you start doing etchings and rubbings, you could damage the stones. So I
Oh,
just
okay.
mostly take pictures.
Thanks for making me feel bad. You're correct on that.
Sorry.
I do it with charcoal and I do it lightly. But yeah, you're right. But some of them you can't read. It's so far gone. I just do the sketches. I can get a couple of words out of it.
Some of
I'm looking
them,
for old symbols.
there is a special blue light. They do come in purple, but I use the blue. If you use it and you like hold your light, no matter if even the wording is gone on the stone, if you hold that light at a certain angle, you can still read it.
Okay. I didn't know that. I'll try that. Actually, I will try that because I'm looking for symbols. There's a lot of new symbols that I've never seen before, and they're being used. I mean, I'm not sure if whatever effect you people have, the change effect, whatever you want to call it, but there's certain things that I've noticed that are new on these stones. So I have been trying to come up with these new symbols that the church uses I've never seen before, like the Constantine symbols. I've brand new for me, and all these different symbols, and they're really beautiful symbols. Yeah. And there are a lot of the old graves. So I've been doing a list of them. That's what I'm doing tomorrow. I'm going to go out to there's a couple of ones with the Freemason the symbols on there. I'm going to go take a look at those and what they have below and all the certain symbols. As weird as it may sound, you should know this, the graveyards actually have a lot of information on them stones.
Yeah.
Especially old symbols.
Hey, this is interesting. I pulled up a thing called the Amityville Murders about revealing the facts and about the ground. It says here, myth. The Shinecock Indians. What a weird name for those Indians. I'm sorry for those guys. Shinecock Indians reside in Amityville. It says here, fact, the Shinecock Indians reside nowhere near Amityville. Besides of all the Indians on Long Island were part of the Montaukett Nation, it was European who placed names on the inhabitants of the local areas. Regardless, the Masquerades were the group that would have mostly likely visited Amityville. So they're saying here that there is no Indian ground that was built on.
I thought it was. I really did. To this day, I thought it was because the location's by the water's edge. So that's where you would have a native encampment. That would be a good place to have your camp. Right.
You know, they're never going to tell you behind the scenes. I mean, that name, or they call themselves the Shinecock Indians, might have said, "Hey, can you take our names out and say we're not from there, so people could leave our race alone?" You know, that could be a possibility that they don't want it.
It might have just been a burial ground, which means it's not going to be listed anywhere as an encampment for anything. Mm-hmm. It's just where they've taken their deceased ones and put them up in there. So we don't know. I don't know. Anybody did any archaeology there? We don't know.
Well, there's a lot of weird stuff here. A myth. Here's a myth. A witch named John Ketchum escaped from Salem, Massachusetts during the witch trials and built his house on or near the famous Amityville house to continue his devil worship. It is reported his body is buried or near the property. First of all, I've never even heard of this story.
Yeah, that's in the new Amityville, I think.
Oh, is it?
Call him Ketchum. Yeah.
A prominent citizen named John Ketchum did return from Massachusetts community and settled in Huntington Township on Long Island. So apparently this guy did go to Long Island. While in Massachusetts, the Long Ketchum acted and represented the local government there before returning to Long Island, where some of his family reside. He eventually became hunting death and showed. So yeah, I guess that story is true.
That's weird. I don't know what to believe anymore. I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, see, the whole thing I got with the Native Americans there was not so much that they lived there, but there was someone that was using them for slave labor, and they was doing, torturing on them, for medical purposes. Now, that's kind of the backstory I got. Now, how much of that, I don't know.
I've heard that. I've heard that on the. I actually, well, it's a wrong story though, but I've heard I don't know. They were on that property. They were doing medical experiments, stories. Again, I blew it off, but I've heard that story. I'm not just saying it. I'm agreeing with you. I've heard that story.
Windows the Soul wrote, "Witches don't worship the devil," and I heard that too. They don't.
Yeah,
they're not on me. But going back to this Amityville, here's the Red House or the Red Room. Here it goes. Myth: the Red Room was the gateway to hell. So that's what the Red Room was supposed to be. Fact. Here we go. Fact. The Red Room was nothing more than a little area underneath a stairwell that the DeFeo children sometimes store their toys and use as storage. Today is no longer exist since the subsequent owner had renovated the basement and constructed over it. Furthermore, Arthur Rick also was granted access to the home before publications of his book. The basement had indeed underwent an extensive renovation. Absent was anything remotely supernatural or red. So, like you said, it was just they put shoes in. It was all false. Because in the movie, they broke down the wall in the basement, and of course it was a red room, and that Lunt's face appeared.
Yeah.
Oh, that's where Harry Potter lived in one of those, didn't he? Eric, didn't Harry Potter live in a small room underneath the stairs?
Oh my God, this one's stupid. Come on, really? People don't believe this, really? Myth. American International Pictures, the Amityville horror movie could not be filmed in the real house because the crew was too scared. Give me a fucking break. They didn't have permission. Come on, they were too scared to film in the real house. Dude, if I was making a movie and you could say I could film in the real house, that's guaranteed more money. They would have been forced to go on there. If I was a studio and I got permission, if you don't want to film in the house, get the fuck out. I'm going to hire people that will, because that's guaranteed more money. Give me a break.
I'm gonna flip that coin around, man, because I worked at Fort Lewis Historical Museum, and it was all about being haunted. And I was in there too, and there was some weird shit that happened. I'm not gonna call it haunted, but anyway, they wanted to do some run the dogs through. The security team, the Army, U.S. Army security team wanted to run dogs through that place, and the dogs were scared. The dogs were whining in the basement. They wouldn't go any further into the museum. I swear to God, everybody, they wouldn't go into the museum. And so, because the dogs were whining, the security guards were all fucking looking at each other. They were scared. They wouldn't. I swear to God, that Fort Lewis Historical Museum. So I was told by the curator to go out and talk to them, and they were all standing outside the door. No, they didn't want to go in. They told me the story about the dogs. So I had to go escort them in. I had to walk them, a security team with machine guns and dogs, into the museum. They were scared.
Wow.
So, Eric, I'm just saying, you'd be surprised who is scared.
Yeah, but hey, we just discovered something. I think we really know why Texas Danny has visions.
What is that?
That quantum stuff, Texas Danny. I lived in a trailer park for years in Texas. One trailer, my bedroom where I slept, was only 20 feet from graves there.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? This fact story here, now they're talking about how the Luntz family has said like doors flew off hinges and all that. And apparently people came in afterwards and there was never any evidence of anything ever flew off, no damage to hinges or windows. And there's even a picture here where it says here the 250-pound front door of the house was inexplicably torn off its hinges, and a locksmith was called out to repair the door. Fact. The photo below shows the screen door, not storm door or front door as originally explained, torn off its hinges. With the gusty wind coming from the Great South Bay, a misty screen door can easily be damaged. So basically, the story is now I guess they're saying is the back door did, but it was just a dingy ass little screen door, where the front door, where he claims was a heavy-duty door, and there was never any damage to it at all. There was no evidence it ever got torn off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now, it reminds me of this myth. The Catholic Church is hiding evidence that something exists in Amityville House. Oh, come on. First of all, the Catholic Church, no offense to the Catholic Church, they hide a lot of evidence. They're no different than the government of the United States of fucking America.
That's why they got the big vault underneath the Vatican.
Yeah. Fucking right. You're never going to get the truth from a church, government, or anything. Father Ralph Percaro admitted that his only contact with the Lutz was a phone call. Questions remain whether or not he even ventured to the famed residence in Amityville. Because if you remember in the movie, I watched Amityville Horror just two nights ago because it was on one of the channels for the hell of it, the original. And that I forgot how many times that priest guy in that movie felt like he's going to have a heart attack and die, but he doesn't. He's going to have a heart attack in the house. He doesn't die. He's in a car with another priest where the thing pops up. Look like he's going to have a heart attack. He doesn't. He doesn't die. He's at his house calling them with static, having almost another heart attack. And I was like, I didn't realize how many fucking heart attacks and this fucking priest guy just don't die.
Well,
yeah, I'm sorry.
You get back to the Exorcist that actually happened here in St. Louis, Missouri. The Catholic Church has all those records sealed. You cannot access those.
The real story, yeah. I heard about the real. Is that the boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. I've heard about a couple of priests that actually went to trial, too, for murder. When things were bad. So.
Boy, they actually made a movie with that. One of the guys who played James Bond one of those years played that movie about the real story of the Exorcist with the boy, not the girl.
Well, don't they have Emily Rose? Was it Emily Rose?
That's the court one where they went to court to get the priest from being convicted for first-degree murder, where technically he did get convicted, but the judge said he already served his time in jail. So basically, he didn't get convicted. He did get convicted.
Why would you want to be an exorcist, man? I know I've read, I don't know if it's true or not, but there seems to be an increase. Maybe Veal might know. I don't know if you remember. You might know that there was an increase now, presently, with demonic possessions. So they're having to chain a whole new set of exorcists.
Yeah, and I know I'm going to lean back on Jax here, Underworld. I know he had told in several live streams, he even told to me that the Catholic Church is hiring, giving people money to actually go over and take these demonology courses. And I don't know, if there's a rise in demons. I've been at this 48 years and I've only seen one. I think a lot of it can be truly chalked up, and here's me debunking again, to a lot of mental illness that people don't understand. But I mean, if you do have a possession, granted, glad there's, now 20,000 new demonologists out there, but they will pay you now to take these courses.
I will go do that. I would love to do that. Well, I know there's a strong drug influence. I know everybody's addicted to something nowadays, and so it lowers your immunities, it lowers everything in you. So on the flip side of that coin, again, if you were a demon or something, it's easier to possess somebody because everything's numbed in their body. There's a rise of violence and a rise of possession, supposed possession. We use the word so-called possession. So again, like you said, so there's a rise in demand for exorcists. That's not weird at all. Right?
The real exorcist kid, his name is Roland Doe. And apparently this is a picture of the...
Whoa.
I mean, I don't know if that's or not, but this is supposed to be the picture.
He's supposed to be speaking different languages. I heard something like he spoke speaking in tongues. They said it, multiple languages and just crazy shit.
Yeah,
I read a little bit about
the lady. I knew a woman that was actually a sister that worked at the St. Augustine's Hospital where they had him there for a little while, and she would go in and, do his med checks and everything. And he was speaking in like 3 different languages, and he was really, violent to the nurses and stuff. And we're talking, they said, he was a little uneducated to begin with. So for him to speak in all these languages, and, he was so violent, that's why they took him out of the hospital and put him in the private home there in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He's a 14-year-old boy born in 1935, was alleged victim of a demonic possession, and events were reported by attending priest Raymond J. Bishop. Subsequently, supernatural claims surrounding the events were used as elements in William Peters Blatty's novel, The Exorcist.
Whoa. Okay. Yeah, that was supposed to be the real deal.
Yeah.
They had multiple. Was it over a long period of time? They had to do they exorcised him.
Yeah, several times. And they say the hospital up there where he was actually, for a while, they still have paranormal experiences on that floor in the hospital, and they have shut that part of the wing down because of things that go on.
No shit. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I know that the Muslims have the same. They believe it's the jinn. I had a friend that talked about his daughter. His sister was possessed by jinn, and I go, huh? He goes, yeah. She was throwing away garbage. This is over in Africa, and so they have a garbage, and the jinn likes to hang. They like to hang out in garbage areas where the garbage is. So they always have to bring in something to do, some Islamic symbols to scare off jinn as they go dump garbage. I go, no shit. And they got to say a prayer before they dump the garbage. Makes sense, man.
Here, this is interesting. Raymond J. Bishop was, of course, the priest for that exorcism. It says he became one of the several priests involved in the case, exorcising the boy in St. Louis, Missouri, who allegedly was possessed after using a Ouija board.
Oh, Eric. Ooh, our brother Mike was doing that. He got wacky-do afterwards. I knew it when you were talking about. We have a dead gay brother that was also a transsexual, whatever. But he got weird.
One that was in the chat one day said, "Hey, there's a woman behind you." Remember?
Was that? Yeah. Oh, yeah. 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 But yeah, he got really weird after he was playing with the Ouija board. Like he was acting weird. Whoa, what's wrong with you, man?
Well, like with Ouija boards or anything that we use as a tool to speak to the beyond, you're opening gateways. You're opening yourself for this communication. If you don't know what you're doing, I mean, you can invite a lot of things that you don't understand what you're dealing with into the situation.
Okay. Eric was wanting to play with what I don't when I was younger we did, but I don't now that I'm older. I mean, I'm not afraid of it, but there's no reason to fuck with it to begin with. You know what I mean? If there's a power tool you don't know how to use, don't use it. Just don't. It's not worth it. So I don't fuck around with Ouija boards. There's no reason for it. I don't want to hear something talk back to me. I don't know what it is. Know thy enemy. Know thy enemy.
So you're saying that don't play with Ouija boards? Is that what you're saying, Bob?
I don't want to mess with one because I mean they do open a broader spectrum of doorways. I mean, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be prepared. Know what you're doing. Know what you're dealing with. Protect yourself. Always close what you open.
Basically, I'm screwed because
always close with you.
One of my first videos is right here. Paranormal Ouija board. Can we contact the dead? Where one of my first videos I ever done on my Gypsy Road channel was I made my own Ouija board because I was studying that if you make your own Ouija board, it becomes more personal and you're more likely to see something or hear something. And I don't recommend anybody to go back and watch that one. That was my early days, but I actually tried to do a Ouija board on air.
I like what she said, though. I like that saying, by the way. That was cool. Always close what you open. That makes sense. Just across life itself, always close what you open. And pertaining to the Ouija board and pretty much life. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Taurus, so far I don't think I opened up any negative portal, so that's a good thing. Hopefully not, right? Hopefully not.
Yeah, so that kid, the one that was actually possessed, he was playing with the Ouija board. And wasn't it in The Exorcist she was also playing with the Ouija board, I think it was? Or maybe I'm thinking of another movie. Oh,
yeah,
or was
Exorcist, she? Yeah, Captain Howdy was Exorcist.
Yeah, Captain Howdy, that's right. Yeah. I don't want to play with one of those things. There's no use. I mean, why don't you just ask the question? Don't open anything. Use your little box. Turn it on. Eric, do you have your box? Do you have your little ghost box? Oh, here we go. Oh, yeah.
You can see here when I did a video, me and my son, and I made that Ouija board myself.
So bad, dude. Look at the picture you have behind you, man.
I was trying, dude. I was trying everything I'm serious. I was trying to talk. I mean, I wanted to talk. I thought I'd give it a shot, but it didn't work.
No, our brother Mike, he made one, right? A homemade one from wood. Did he make one? Oh, God, Eric, that nice picture. But didn't he make one from wood? Like a homemade one? Mike did?
No. He actually had no, it was bought. It was he bought a professional. It was very, I mean, as far as Ouija board, it wasn't that cheap board you get for $10. It was like nice and wood. It had a nice coated glass over it in a way.
Oh,
he must have spent like, honestly, like over $100 more on it.
You can make one out of pieces of paper and a glass.
That's what I did. I printed out a Ouija board picture and I put a piece of plastic and melted it on there, and I made my own little silver circle as my moving thing.
Oh, so you could make one. I didn't know that. You could actually. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Why would you not be able to make one? Yeah.
Oh, what I read. Now, I don't know if this is wrong, but what I read was if you make your own, it's supposed to be more personal, and it's supposed to help you to speak. So that's what I did there. I made my own, and I got my son to help me out.
Just to incorporate your children into.
I know, right? I feel like a bad parent now.
Are.
And then of course,
it's frozen. You're not going to be able to play. Oh, what you guys are doing it? That's bad. That's so bad.
If you have any attachment, then you're bad.
Then you get the scary pictures in the background. Oh God!
It's a green screen. So while we're doing it, that picture wasn't up. It was a green screen.
Yeah,
so
green. Yeah.
When you put the video out, you got to make it look more exciting. I guess you could say.
Yeah. That's sick.
I always want to ask, like, when you're doing when you're out doing the cemetery thing and you got your voice box and everything, what do you do when you leave? Like you talk about, like you said, always close what you open. Do you close what you open when you leave? Is there something you do a prayer? What do you do when you leave?
With me,
well, I'm talking about
I do my Cherokee, bless the four winds, and I thank the spirits for speaking to me. And then, I tell them that I would prefer they not to come home with me. A lot of them don't listen at times, but yeah, just close that, say goodbye. Nice speaking to you. Thank, the earth and the winds and spirits for letting you communicate. Close that off, just shut it down. And
and they don't come with you, right? You said that they sometimes you made a little snip there that sometimes they come with you. What was that?
Well,
they come with you
in the paranormal field. We always say you're not allowed to touch yourself to my equipment, my car, me, et cetera, et cetera. Well, I found out that don't really work because spirits are people, and more than likely 10 to 1, if you tell me that I can't do something, I'm going to do it anyway. And I actually went to the Missouri State Pen on an investigation, and I closed everything out like I normally do. And I had this one guy that was really talkative with me, spirit, and, overdone with. And, I had nothing in my home for weeks. And I went upstairs. I was making the spoof video for my Halloween thing, and I was getting some really foul language. And, my spirits were upstairs, and they were really upset. And they're trying to talk to me about getting this guy out of here, and I'm trying to figure out who it is. And he finally tells me, and you can hear it in the video in the spoof, that he does not want to go back to Jeff City. Jeff City is where the penitentiary was. He said they tried to kill me. And, he was just, making really derogatory remarks. And I'm like, I did not tell you could follow me. So apparently they can do what they want to do. So they are people, by the way.
Yeah. So what did you do? Did you get an exorcism? What did you exercise? You get a what did you do?
Actually, it went well. I mean, I have a nun, Sister Mary Bertram, that, is a spirit in my home. And he apparently couldn't go on. And we thought, well, maybe, him doing some bad thing, he's going to go down below anyway. So I don't know how to handle this.
Oh.
But she came in, and you could actually, hear them praying back and forth. And all of a sudden it just, the atmosphere lifted in that room. And I guess her, in her own spirit form, she helped him to move on.
Okay. As in, you were talking about going down.
Yeah, but she went ahead and helped him go up. So I was like, okay, he just had to repent his sins and everything. And
I can see that. That's what it was. Okay, I see. He had to repent. Okay, yeah, because he probably didn't like where he was going to go. So I can see the logic of him following you back. So you kind of helped the guy out. Okay, that's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So you have to do a little. Yeah. Is that the only one has ever followed you back?
No, I had one that followed me back from Bobby Mackey's, which was Ed. He actually is the one that hurt my neck. I mean, I'm still having problems with it today. I don't know, if it was a spinal injury he done in there or what he did. But yeah, he followed me home, and, again, another one making derogatory remarks. And I actually had to do a lot of prayer in my home, and I had to be stern. I mean, like horribly stern, but I'm a sweet person. And I just had to tell him, get out. You're not welcome here. And then, all my spirits ganged up on him, and he hasn't been in here. So if he's out there on the street somewhere, I don't know if he went back to Mackey's, but he's not in my home. He's not bothering me. So.
So you got protective spirits. That's what you're trying to say. You have that's cool. That's smart. That's smart to have. So you got like a protective angel kind of a thing. That's cool.
I do have one. I call them my spirit guides, and I do have one that is demonic. And I mean, they do help me out in certain areas. I do have Sister Mary Bertram, which, is the nun. She can help me out on that spiritual plane. So, and I have other, angels that, help. So yeah, make sure you got your spirit guides together.
Yeah, I always thought I had one. My dad always joked about having one. I always, because there's been too many situations. It's impossible. I could not have got out of it. It's just no. The probabilities are 1 in a million I got out of certain situations. I'm like, I gotta have something. Mm-hmm. There's just something there. It's always that the one Twinkie fucking thing. It's right. In writing, it called the Twinkie. It's the thing that saves everything. So I'd be in a situation where this one thing would be there, and like, oh, this helps me save everything. I can get out of this situation. There's always one thing that helps. It's always at the last second. It's like, gotta be a spirit guide. Gotta be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Somebody help you along.
Go ahead.
No, I just said there got to be somebody helping you along. I mean, if things start, a lot of, and my grandma always said this, that if you find yourself getting out of situations way too easily, it's, someone helping you along. You just don't, always get yourself out of something not that easily. So you've got a spirit guide there somewhere.
Yeah, that's how I just come to terms with that. I was like, I gotta have a spirit guide. Something's looking out, because it's just no way. Mm-hmm. I've heard the sound of a bullet. I can actually tell people I've heard the sound of a bullet. It's a whistle. It's a distinct whistle sound by my head. It's just like, it hits like this is where like I felt like the Pulp Fiction movie where it was that one scene where Samuel Jackson was getting shot at. He turned around and all the bullet holes were right where he was standing. It's like, what the fuck? There's like no way. So yeah, that's good. That's good. I don't feel like I'm crazy then. That's good you said that.
From Jim Emma Puddle, she wrote, "I wonder if our commonality as ME people is that we all made the terrible mistake of playing with the Ouija when we were young."
Yeah, I did.
Well, not just young. Come on. I mean, I was doing it last year, and I'm 47, so you never grow up. And also, on this video here, I was trying to possess a doll. So, so it doesn't matter if you're a kid or not. Sometimes we don't know better.
Wow.
But listening to Val, I don't think I'll ever go back and trying to do a Ouija again, and not just do a Ouija board, trying to actually possess a doll as a conduit. I was trying to create a conduit. I was trying everything that I can. But I'm learning after the show, I will never do that again.
I just want to put a big dirt sign on your head there.
You don't possessing no dolls, man. We don't possess dolls now in this place. Yeah, the commonality with a lot of people is the NDEs. I've noticed everyone has an NDE, near-death experience, and everybody always has like some sort of patron saint that watches over them. Pretty much anyone I've ever taught, even if you're native in culture, you've always got that native spirit watch. Everyone has the same story. You have an NDE and you have something looking over you the whole time. Yeah. And I haven't done any research on everyone playing with the Ouija board. I have to ask that. Oh, by the way, you have this wake up effect. Do you ever play with a Ouija board? I might have to start asking that question because I have. So
didn't one time we had like the witch goddess on, and she's saying that, you know, if you go into a Ouija board with good vibes, with good vibrations, with good, you know, good tensions, you know, you're probably going to get nice and solid results. But if you go in with negative and looking for evil on purpose, that's what you're going to get.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or if you come in playful and you want a playful spirit to possess a doll, you'll probably get that playful spirit that's going to possess a doll. It's not going to be fun. It's going to be playful. It's mischievous. So I'd be careful with that.
Yeah, that's the same way with going on an investigation, not really even a Ouija board. I mean, it all depends your attitude and your spirit on how you go in and you address those spirits of what you're going to get back. If you're provoking and you're being nasty and negative to people that used to live there, they're probably going to provoke and be nasty back. Or you can have a childlike innocence and go in there and, you know, be like you're in a doctor's office, as I call it, and introduce yourself and be nice and polite, and you might get nice and polite things back.
I did that. I've watched your show. I put a video out. It's the first one I've ever done in a cemetery. I went in like exactly how you described, like a doctor's office. I introduced myself. I was very polite. I even left some tobacco. I'm native blood ourselves. I've left tobacco. you know, because I was even smoking and I felt bad and I apologized for smoking and I asked them if they want me to leave them tobacco. I left them tobacco. The whole ritual thing, a little bit painted. Yeah, I followed more of the native tradition than anything else because it's worked for them. So yeah, a little bit painted. Leave them tobacco. Be very courteous. Say thank you a lot, and then say I'm leaving. Stay here.
Let me tell people what's going on for the rest of this week. There's no show tomorrow because I do have things I actually have to do tomorrow. Thursday, we're not going to have a designated movie to talk about. We're going to be talking about maybe like 5 of our favorite Halloween kind of movies before Halloween. Mm-hmm. So Thursday is going to be a movie talk, but it's going to be a movie talk about multiple Halloween movies. And then Friday, I'm going to have an open window show on purely paranormal because Halloween is on Saturday. So anybody who wants to talk paranormal on Friday, I'm going to put the invite in the chat, and I'm going to invite anybody who wants to come on. Paranormal Underworld, I would love to have you on if you're free. Vel, if you're free. Window of the Soul, if you're free. I like what Vel does, where she has it open for any paranormal people that want to jump in, and I want to do that too for Friday because it's a day before Halloween, and you know, a lot of things ain't gonna be happening this year. Except I found out what I am doing for Halloween. I guess I'm going to be supporting a Halloween party because my daughter's gonna have her friends come over. They're gonna be downstairs and they're gonna have a Halloween party. So, woo!
Just don't bring out your Ouija board for your children, please.
Don't do that. I agree with her. Don't do it.
I did not a Ouija board, but I did subscribe to Shudder for them because they want to watch horror movies. So I got the Shudder description so they can watch any horror movie they want. But a Ouija board, that's a good one, Val.
Oh no. Pin the planchette on the Ouija board. There you go.
There's a movie that comes out Friday, and it looks so fucking stupid. It's called not 90. It's called Empty Man, and it looks like a total ripoff of Candyman because apparently they go to this bridge and they go Empty Man, Empty Man, Empty Man, like Candyman, and it comes and gets you. I'm like, oh my god, what happened to all our good horror movies?
No.
It seemed like after the 70s, it kind of went.
Right, I'm with you. After the 70s, man, it just went to
Yeah.
It's social media ghosts now. They come through the phone.
Oh, that's right.
Coming through the phone.
Halloween, Blue Moon at night, Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. That's why I'm going to go out naked dancing.
So this is a rare. Now I live in Washington. I'm hoping that it's not going to be fucking cloudy where I get to miss the blue moon. But she's right. This Saturday, there's supposed to be a blue moon this Saturday.
Everything.
Yeah, I'm gonna go out. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah, I'm gonna turn into a werewolf.
You, Val, that's a good idea. I am gonna bring out 3 Ouija boards for them.
No.
Oh, don't you even do it.
Don't put that on my conscience.
My daughter ain't gonna Ouija board. She's too smart.
Say it. Don't do it. Yeah, Saturday I'm gonna go out and just wolf out, Eric. I'm gonna have a great time. I'm gonna go out and just run around in the Britain forest at night. Take it all off. Smoke a little weed.
And then all the Christians are gonna say, "We seen Bigfoot."
Right? Yeah, a lot of weekends over here. So a lot of weekends.
Question before we end the show. But because Halloween is actually on Saturday, is that kind of an extra popular day where every paranormal investigator that actually goes out all going to do investigations on Saturday, and it makes it harder for anybody who wants to investigate because there might be other people there?
Yeah. This year, I mean, with the full moon, and it is on a Saturday, so yeah, there's probably going to be a lot of them out there. So,
oh, look at this. Paranormal Underworld said, I'm doing a live investigation on Halloween. It has Native American ties. Hey, wow. Paranormal Underworld. Hold on a second. On where is he? Paranormal. I'm going to give you a wrench right here.
Put his link.
So Paranormal Underworld, if you want to put your channel in the chat so people can subscribe to you to watch it this Saturday, you got a wrench now. Please put your channel in the chat so we can check that out because I love watching live events, but I want to watch
Saturday. Yeah, I'm Halloween on a blue moon. Well, actually, I'll be out running around, but yeah, I'll check it out. Just pick up the phone. Whoa, live footage.
I'll be on the phone waiting to call the police if anything happens because he's going out there alone. I know where he's going. And our number one rule is do not go alone. And where he is going, there is extreme activity out there. So, yeah, I'm kind of worried about him being out there. But, hey, he's going to try it. So.
At least he'll be live. You'll see him. You'll be able to see him. You'll know exactly what's going on.
You're calm.
Are you with me? Everyone's watching. You're with you, man.
So an Evil Dead happens to him, you'll actually get to see it on the air and you'll be able to call the cops right away. Get out there.
Or he piles up a giant rock somewhere.
Like the Blair Witch Project. He's just falling down, the phone falls, or the camera falls, it's still live and he's running. Whatever's coming in after him.
Or he's leaning over it with snot out of his nose. I don't know what's there.
I'm so lost that it's not running. Help me. That'd be funny. No, that's kind of cool, though. That's a good thing to do. Yeah. Hell yeah. I'm looking forward to it. It only happens on a Halloween, that is. On a blue moon on a Halloween is only every 19 years. 19 years. Mm-hmm. So, shit. This is going to be epic.
There's his channel right there.
Cool.
And I'm glad he sent it, because when you type in paranormal, oh, my fault. I wrote underground, not underworld. I got a Mexican group that does investigations. I'm like, that's not him. I just clicked subscribe to his channel because I want to check that out. So I just subscribed to your channel myself.
Yeah, I'll sub after this. Yeah, hell yeah. Check it out. Check it out. Well, it's gonna be fun.
It is gonna be fun because since I got to not watch a bunch of kids, but I'm gonna be home.
Yeah.
I'll watch his ghost thing while they're downstairs destroying my house.
No swearing, just in case children watch. Underworld.
No, I don't think he swears.
You might meet Sasquatch out there. Be careful.
Now, is everybody going to be dressing up for Halloween?
What do you got? Oh, Eric, put the mask on.
Lovely.
Put the mask. There you go. Oh, that's perfect, man. You look better, though. I'm not going to lie to you. You look like Biden.
You kind of look like a Bateman on a Hollow Man.
Right. You look nice, Eric. You look nice.
Hey,
there you go.
Best time of the year. It is the best holiday there is.
Yeah. Dress that up. Wear that in the stores. Wear that in the stores on Saturday. Everyone should be wearing masks, and your actual masks in the store on Saturday.
They say nothing, right? Because you can't open the mouth, so it's not like I can spread germs.
Yeah.
Oh, wear a mask with a mask. That's the best way to do it. Wear that mask and then put a mask over it to see if we can get by what people would say. I might try that. I might put a mask on with a mask and see what people say.
Well, first of all, I do want to say I want to thank Bill for jumping on. Today was fun. Today was just relaxed and fun. It was so natural, and I hope some people in the chat that never really know that Amityville Horror actually had a murder. Hopefully you guys learned something.
Mm-hmm.
That's always the best. And great people in the chat today. I mean, great people. Paranormal Underworld, Window to the Soul, Jim, Emma Puddleluck, our good friend Texas Danny. Mm-hmm. We all love Texas Danny. You have Della Mile that was there, AGM, Instamito, Wake Up, Jonathan Hobbs. If I'm missing names, people, I apologize. But I know there's a lot of you. I know Torres was here. Torres, but he had to get back to work. So remember, guys, this Friday I'm gonna have an open invitation. If people want to talk about paranormal, talk about things that you've experienced. That because I love hearing people's stories on their experiences of what has happened to them in their life. Because to me, those are priceless.
That's
hopefully not like hopefully nobody got hurt, but you know what I mean.
I always like it when somebody comes on, someone else to talk to besides Eric, because it's kind of fun. Isn't he? It's like I don't want to talk to him either. I'd rather talk to somebody else on here too. So it's kind of fun. Yes, it's kind of fun.
You and I, if we talk horror stories, we grew up together, so we know ours. We
already know ours.
Oh, here's something new.
We all know Bob likes his alien hand job cult. We know that.
I gotta make that for you too.
That T-shirt, that'd be funny.
We're gonna make a T-shirt out of it. But beyond that, everybody, thank you guys very much for joining us. If you like movie talk, we're going to do movie talks this Thursday on Halloween movies. On any kind of Halloween movie, doesn't really matter. We're going to bring it up. And beyond that, we're going to let everybody go. Have a good day.
Thanks for having me up.
No problem. Have fun, Belle.